My name is Mary. I came to the United States when I was 33 years old. I left everything behind. I left my home, my friends, my job, and even my mother. I came alone with my child and one suitcase. I came because I wanted a better life. I wanted more safety, more chances, more future. I had one big hope in my heart, but I also had one big problem. I did not speak English. Not even one sentence. I only knew how to say hello. That was all. Before I arrived, I thought I could learn fast. People told me, just listen and repeat. Watch television and you will learn. So I believed them. I said to myself, it will be hard, but I can do it. But the truth is, it was much harder than I thought. In my first week in America, I needed to take the bus. I looked at the signs, but I could not read them. I asked a man, "Excuse me?" He answered, but I did not understand anything. I smiled, nodded my head, and said, "Thank you." But I had no idea what he said. I got on the wrong bus. Not once, but 3 times. I ended up far away from my home. I didn't know where I was. I started to cry in the street. I felt lost. I felt small, like a child again. One day, I got sick. I had a fever. I went to the doctor, but I didn't know how to explain my problem. The nurse asked me, "What's wrong?" I didn't know the words. I pointed to my head and said, "Pain." The doctor gave me medicine, but I was not sure how to take it. Do I take it with food? In the morning or at night? I didn't understand the instructions. I was afraid. What if I took it the wrong way? What if it made me worse? That night, I cried in the bathroom. I didn't want my child to see me cry. I tried to be strong, but inside, I felt weak. I missed my country. I missed speaking my own language. I missed feeling smart. Back home, I was a teacher. I helped people. I answered questions. But here, I was silent. I couldn't even ask for help. To feel better, I bought a small notebook. I started my own English journal. I didn't write full sentences. I just wrote 1 word a day. I also drew pictures. If I learned the word apple, I drew an apple. It was simple, but it helped me feel like I was doing something. It gave me a small goal each day. One night, I turned on the television. There was a show in English. I didn't understand anything. I was about to change the channel, but something in my heart said, "Don't." I kept watching. I listened to the sounds, the music, the voices. I didn't know the meaning, but I liked how it made me feel less alone. That night, I made a decision. I said to myself, "You will not give up. You will keep listening even if you don't understand. One day, something will change." And that was the beginning. Every journey starts with a step. Mine started with the television and one small decision: to try, to keep going, and to believe that learning English, even slowly, was still possible. I didn't know it then, but that night in front of the television was my first real English lesson. No teacher, no classroom, just me, my ears, and my heart saying, "Don't stop." And I didn't. That is how my story began. And maybe it is how your story can begin too. After that night with the television, I started to watch it every evening. I didn't understand most of the words, but I listened. I looked at the people's faces. I listened to their voices. When someone laughed, I laughed too. When someone cried, I felt something in my heart. I didn't understand the language, but I understood the feeling. One day, I found a way to add subtitles in English. At first, it was very hard. The words moved too fast. My eyes couldn't follow. I paused the show many times. I went back again and again. Sometimes, it took me 1 hour to watch only 10 minutes. But I didn't give up. I told myself, Slow is okay. Then I started a new idea. I talked to myself. At home, in the kitchen, in the bathroom. I practiced speaking. I called it mirror talk. I looked in the mirror and made fake conversations. I asked, "What time is it?" Then I answered, "It is 5 o'clock." I practiced smiling. I practiced simple sentences, like, "My name is Mary." I didn't care if I sounded silly. No one could hear me. I was alone, and I was learning. One time, I went to the store. I said, "Hi," to the cashier. She said, "Hi, how are you?" I smiled and said, "I'm fine, thank you." I felt proud. But then she said, "Do you want a bag?" I didn't understand. I froze. I smiled, but inside, I was confused again. I went home and searched the words online. "Do you want a bag?" I wrote them in my notebook. I said them 10 times out loud. The next day, I went back. When she asked the same question, I said, "Yes, please." That was a big moment for me. 3 small words, but I felt proud like I climbed a tall mountain. Of course, I made many mistakes. One time I said chicken when I meant to say kitchen. Another time I asked for soap when I wanted soup. People laughed. Some were kind, some were not. I felt shy, but I told myself, mistakes mean learning. So I started a new rule. When I made a mistake, I wrote it in my notebook. I wrote the wrong word, then the correct word. I said them again and again until I remembered. I watched more television. I listened to English songs. I read small signs at the store. I said new words out loud. I repeated and repeated. Every day I failed a little. But every day I also learned a little. It was slow, very slow, but I was moving forward. I was not stuck anymore. One day, something important happened. I needed to go to the doctor again. But this time, no one could come with me. No husband, no friend, just me. I was scared. I almost canceled the appointment. My hands were shaking. But I told myself, "You have been learning. You are not the same as before. You can try." At the front desk, the receptionist asked, "What's your name? Date of birth?" I understood. I answered. She smiled. That gave me hope. Then I sat down to wait. I was nervous. My mind was full of fear. I thought, what if the doctor speaks too fast? What if I say something wrong? What if I don't understand? Then they called my name. I stood up. The nurse asked, "Do you have any pain today?" I said, "Yes, my head hurts." She asked, "Since when?" I said, 3 days. I couldn't believe it. I was having a real conversation. Not perfect, but real. The doctor came in. He asked more questions. I answered slowly, one word at a time. I said, "I feel dizzy." He asked, "Did you eat today?" I said, "Number only coffee." He gave me advice. I understood most of it. Not all, but most. Then I went to the pharmacy. The pharmacist explained how to take the medicine. I listened. I heard, "Twice a day," and "with food." I nodded. I said, "Thank you." Then something happened that I will never forget. She looked at me and said, "Your English is good." I didn't know what to say. No one had ever said that to me before. I smiled. But inside, I wanted to cry. Not from sadness, from relief, from pride. That moment was special. It was the first time I felt like all my small steps had meaning. I remembered the nights with the television, the mistakes, the notebook, the mirror talk. All of it brought me to this moment. And I thought to myself, maybe I can really do this. Maybe I can speak English. Not perfectly, but bravely. After the visit to the doctor, I felt stronger. I felt like I won something important. I told my family, "Today, I spoke English at the doctor. He understood me, and I understood him. They smiled and said they were proud. I was proud too, but I thought something that was not true. I thought everything would be easier now. I believed I would understand more and more every day. But the next week, I went to a parent meeting at my child's school. The teacher spoke very fast. I listened, but I only understood maybe 20%. I smiled and nodded, but inside, I felt lost again. That night, I went home and felt sad. I sat at the table and asked myself, why is this still so hard? Was last week just luck? Maybe I didn't really learn. Maybe I only guessed the right words that day. I stopped speaking for a few days. I didn't practice. I didn't talk to myself in the mirror. I only listened. I felt tired again. I felt slow. I started to think, maybe I will never be good. Maybe I will always feel this way. Then one morning, I heard someone crying in the hallway of my apartment. I opened the door. A woman was sitting on the floor. She was on the phone. She said, I need help. I don't understand. She looked very scared. She was new in the building. She didn't speak Spanish, and she didn't understand English well. I looked at her, and I remembered that feeling. I had felt the same way many times. I walked to her slowly and said, Are you okay? She looked at me. I said again, I can help. Tell me. She tried to explain. Her English was broken, but I understood her. I helped her call the office. I stayed with her until she felt calm. After that, she looked at me and said, Thank you. Your English is very good. I smiled, and I laughed a little. Me? The woman who wanted to give up just last week? That day, I learned something very big. I thought learning English was just for me. I thought it was about my goals, my fear, my future. But now I saw something new. I was learning English so I could help other people too. After that, everything changed. I didn't worry so much about speaking perfectly. I just wanted to speak, even if I made mistakes, even if I said something wrong. I learned that my bad English was still useful. It could help someone. It could make a person feel safe. It could create a connection. Today, I am over 60 years old. I still live in New York. I still speak with an accent. I still make small mistakes, but I am not afraid anymore. Now I go to the library once a week. There is a free English group. We talk about life, family, food, anything. Sometimes I speak in front of the group. My hands shake a little, but I speak anyway. I tell my story. I tell them I was like you. I was quiet. I was scared, but I didn't stop. I also help new people in the building. I write little welcome notes with simple English phrases like, Where's the bus stop? Or, I don't understand, please speak slowly. I call them English welcome cards. I know they can make someone feel less alone. One day, a young woman asked me, Mary, how did you learn English? I didn't say, I went to school, because I didn't. I didn't take classes. I said, I learned by living. I listened. I watched. I tried. I failed. And I tried again. I learned from the supermarket, from my child, from television, from songs, from mistakes, from silence, from fear, from hope. But the most important lesson I learned was this. I had to lose my fear. Fear was the biggest wall. Now, I still say the wrong words sometimes, but I don't stop speaking. I still ask people to repeat what they say. I still carry a notebook for new words. And that's okay, because learning English never really ends. You don't finish it. You grow with it. Learning English changed my life. Not because I got a big job, not because I became rich, but because I got my voice back. I could speak for myself. I could protect my child. I could help a neighbor. I could be me again. So if you are learning English today and you feel slow or tired or full of mistakes, I want to tell you something. You are not alone. You are brave. You are strong. And every word you try to say is one step forward. Don't wait for perfect. Just begin. One word today, one phrase tomorrow, one conversation next week. Don't give up on English. Because English is not just grammar. It is connection. It is courage. It is freedom. And it is your voice. Mary's story is not just about learning English. It is about courage, about starting again, and about not giving up. She came to a new country with big hope but no English. She felt lost, scared, and alone. At first, she couldn't ask for help. She couldn't speak to the doctor. She couldn't understand the bus signs. Every "no, I don't speak English" felt like a door closing. But little by little, Mary changed. She watched television. She talked to herself. She made mistakes. She wrote in her notebook. She didn't stop. And slowly, the words came. She had good days and bad days. Sometimes she felt strong. Other times she wanted to quit. But she always kept trying. And one day, something beautiful happened. She spoke to the doctor by herself. She understood. She answered. She was proud. That moment gave her confidence to do more. She helped her neighbor. She joined a group. She shared her story. She found her voice again. The lesson from Mary's story is simple but powerful. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to try. English is not only about grammar or big words. It is about connection. It is about understanding others and being understood. It is about having the power to speak for yourself, help your family, and support others. So today, ask yourself, what is one small step I can take? One new word I can learn? One sentence I can try? Don't wait. Start now. Like Mary, you don't need special books or a teacher. You can learn from your daily life TV, songs, people around you. Mistakes are okay. They are part of learning. And now, if you are still here, I want to say something very important. Congratulations! You listened to this full story. That means your English is already better than before. You listened. You understood. That is real progress. You should be proud. Now here's a small question for you. What did Mary use to help her learn English at home? A. Books from school. B. Television shows and mirror talk. Write your answer A or B in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Your support helps us keep going. If you enjoy these stories and want more, your likes, comments, and shares mean a lot. We are creating this content for free to help you learn English, but it takes a lot of time and energy. If you would like to support us, please consider donating so we can continue making high-quality stories for you and others. Thank you for learning with us. And remember, don't give up on English. Not today. Not ever.